Hi guys, welcome to this video on Nagios interview questions and answers. Nagios or Nagios Core is a free open source computer software that is used to monitor systems, networks and infrastructure. Nagios was initially released in 2002 and since then has become the go-to solution for monitoring in the DevOps lifecycle. In this video, we have compiled the most important Nagios interview questions that you might face in a Nagios or DevOps interview. So without further ado, let's get started.
So let's look at continuous monitoring. So with continuous monitoring, how does Nagios help in continuous monitoring of systems, applications, and servers? And so this is really just a high-level question of using Nagios within your environment. And you should be able to just come back very quickly and say, Nagios allows you to help manage the servers and check if they're being sufficiently utilized and if there are any task failures that need to be addressed. And so there are three areas of utilization and risk that you want to be able to manage. This is being able to verify the status and services of the entire network, the health of your infrastructure as a whole, and if applications are working properly together with web services and APIs that are reachable. So the second question you'll be asked is, how does Nagios help in continuous monitoring of systems, applications, and services? So it's able to do this by having the initial Nagios process and scheduler and the additional plugins that you would use for your network connect with the remote resources and the Nagios web interface to be able to run status checks on a predefined schedule. So what do you mean by Nagios Remote Plugin Executor, or the NPRE of Nagios? So NPRE allows you to execute plugins on Linux Unix machines that allow you to do additional monitoring and machine metrics such as disk usage, CPU load, etc. What are the ports used by Nagios for monitoring purposes? In this example, there are three, and they're easy to remember, so I would memorize these three, but they're essentially ports 5666, 5667, and 5668. So there are two types of checks within Nagios. So you will be asked for what is an active and passive check in Nagios. So an active check is initiated by the Nagios process and is run on a regular schedule. A passive check is initiated and formed by an external application or process. So this may be where a system is failing. And results are submitted to Nagios for processing. And to continue with this, for what is an active and passive check, active checks are initiated by the check logic within the Nagios daemon. Nagios will execute a plugin and pass information about what needs to be checked. Plugin will then check the operational state of the host or service and then process the results of the host or service check and send out notifications. In contrast with the passive check, it is an external application that initiates the check. It writes the results of the check to an external command line file. Nagios reads the external command file and places the results of all passive checks in a queue for later processing, so you can go back and revalidate. And then Nagios may send out notifications, log alerts, etc., depending on the results that they get from checking the information. So you're going to be asked to explain the main configuration file and its location in Nagios. So the main configuration file consists of a number of directives that affect how Nagios operates. So consider this as the configuration file that is read by both Nagios processor and the CGIs. So this will allow you to be able to manage the main configuration file that's placed into your settings directory. So what is the Nagios Network Analyzer? And again, hold out your four fingers because there are four options here. So the Nagios Network Analyzer 1 provides an in-depth look at all your network traffic, source, and security threats. 2 allows system admins to gather high-level information on the health of your network. 3 provides a central view of your network traffic and bandwidth data. And then 4 allows you to be proactive in resolving outages, abnormal behavior, and threats before they affect critical business processes. So what are the benefits of HTTP and SSL certificate monitoring with Nagios? So with HTTP certificate monitoring, it allows you to have increased server and services and application availability, obviously very important, fast detection of network outages and protocol failures, and allows web transaction and web service performance monitoring. The SSL certificate monitoring allows you for increased website availability, frequent application availability, and provides increased security. So explain virtualization with Nagios. So in response to this, the first thing you should be able to talk about is how Nagios itself can run on many different virtualization platforms, including Microsoft Visual PC, VMware, Xen, Amazon EC2, etc., etc. So just make sure you get that right off the bat. Nagios was able to provide capabilities to monitor an assortment of metrics on different platforms. It allows for quick detection of service and application failures, and has the ability to be able to monitor against many metrics, including CPU usage, memory, networking, and VM status. So name the 3 variables that affect recursion inheritance in Nagios, and it is name, use, and register. So name is a template name that can be referenced in other object definitions. Use specifies the name of the template object that you want to inherit its properties and variables from. And register indicates whether or not the object definition should be registered to Nagios. And on the right-hand side of the screen, we have an example of what that script would look like. Again, you may want to be able to memorize this, as it's something that you can actually write down and show someone if you're going through a technical interview. So why is Nagios said to be object-oriented? And fundamentally, it comes down to the object configuration format that you can use in your object definitions. It allows you to inherit properties from other object definitions, and this is typical of object-oriented development and is now applied for the Nagios environment. So some of the objects that you can inherit are services, hosts, commands, and time periods. So finally, explain what is state talking in Nagios. And so there are really 4 options here when you're talking about state stalking. So state stalking is used for logging purposes in Nagios. It allows you to enable for a particular host or service that Nagios will watch over very carefully. It will log any changes it sees in the output of the check results. And then finally, helps the analysis of log files.
Thanks guys. With that, we have reached the end of this Nagios interview questions video. I hope you enjoyed this video. Do like and share it. Thank you for watching and stay tuned for more from Simplilearn.
Hi there, if you like this video, subscribe to the Simplilearn YouTube channel and click here to watch similar videos. To nerd up and get certified, click here.